You have nothing. You are nothing.
Know your past and know your future.
You are nothing. You can build nothing.
Know your past and know your future.
You can produce nothing. You can create nothing.
Your present is the gift that can prepare you like a future. Read between the line, hit you like taxes and fines. Know your future, know your future, know your future. Or get stuff into the hooper. Know your past and know
Well,
your future.
Grok to me is best for crypto because a lot of what they call the crypto alpha, which is just the talk that could be like regular talk and regular things that are happening within crypto that could be seen as either positive or negative toward the price of a coin. Like most of that happens actually on Twitter. So
Yeah.
Grok being able to aggregate that data puts it ahead in building like crypto bots and things like that.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
man. But like on the image side, there's a different 4 or 5 top 5 dead or alive on the image side, on the video side, on the API side for building products. And right now, I mean, we can get into it on when we go live, but like that Sora 2 is there was an update overnight that we had that now there's Sora Pro. Because it was like, oh, it's kind of grainy, it's kind of like,
Sora
and
Pro.
overnight it was like, oh, now there's a Pro model, and if you have Pro ChatGPT, then you automatically get Sora Pro.
All right, so let's get into it. That's right, we're here. We're back. It's a live week. Know your future. I'm Tat Wizard, Abram Maldonado. We're here, yo. So all right, you just mentioned that, but I'm here. I heard a rumor that, or at least I saw something on social media that they're actually like, if we're at, what is this, Model 5 for ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
That they're actually working on like Model 9 behind the scenes. And like they're way ahead in what's going on. And that's why the ability, and all of them, like the ones that you mentioned, are so far, like they're working on the new models, all of them. That's why when like Sora drops, right? And maybe next is Google, and then maybe next is, I don't know, Perplexity or whomever's coming after, or Grok or DeepSeek or whatever. But that's why they're able to, like, not that long after, drop their, maybe, 3 or 4 months, drop their new model that ends up becoming the talk of the town every time this happens. What do you think? How do you feel about the...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not breaking any NDAs by saying like that's just how the development cycle works on the roadmaps for all these companies.
Right.
That things are in like a lab phase or like an R&D phase for several months, and as it picks up and gets ready to be alpha tested, beta tested, they have a core group that will test it internally first. And I'm part of those core groups with a couple different technologies.
Nice.
Where we have internal calls and they say, give us your feedback on what you've been testing and let us know how we can improve it. They do some demos. We show some demos of what we've done with it before it goes live to everybody else. And so there's definitely with everything in life, there's like a behind the curtain scene of like pre-testing and pre-production and pre-live kind of work that happens. So yeah, I mean, we all have 5 right now. Is there a behind the scenes team working on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Absolutely. When it's ready for live, we're not there yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
But with these models that are dropping, it was all for as far as like the video stuff that we've been seeing happen with like Sora 2 that just came out. It was already announced before that. Meta was coming out with Meta Vibes, and everyone was like, AI generated feed on my Facebook and my Instagram, like, no thanks. But then Sora 2 came out and they were like, oh, actually, this could be pretty cool. And then Twitter, I heard, is coming back with like an AI generated Vine or
I have
X.
heard that.
And then
I'm always going to call it Twitter.
ByteDance, who owns TikTok, it's only a matter of time before TikTok just adds this as another filter or feature within TikTok. So they're all coming out with an AI generated social feed kind of feature, whether it's a standalone app or whether it's going to be baked into something that you're already using.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, I don't, I heard about the Vine rumors, and I wonder. And then like with TikTok, right? Between TikTok and the Vine rumors, TikTok is going to be U.S. property, owned by Larry Ellison and his family and whatnot. And I've heard it's already starting to lean right, and MAGA talk is more prominent on there now, and other things are disappearing. So, I mean, what's that going to be like between all of that talk, political talk on Twitter? I'm always going to call it Twitter. Um, and then and that leans right. And then so are we facing the rise of the right side social media, right? And then with those features of the Sora 2s and whatever else comes out, are we going to see a lot more like fake hate speech, or not fake because it's real hate speech, but like fake hate videos? I'm trying to say it the way it doesn't sound crazy, but like they're going to probably be hurting us on that type of thing.
Well, there's like a couple different elements here in your question that I should touch on. One,
Mm-hmm.
having U.S. a version of U.S. control over like a U.S. version of TikTok isn't going to fully dictate who's developing the technology. We can't just rely on U.S. talent right now to develop the AI technologies that they're developing within ByteDance, right? So it's almost like there needs to be an AI lab that's doing the development on the technology side at like the core ByteDance company, a technology team, and then delivering that product to the US version of TikTok, and rolling that out, and maybe rolling out different versions, what they call a forking off different versions of that technology to the international side of that technology versus the US side of that technology, based on these new restrictions that this administration is putting on what that US version needs to look like.
Well, let me ask you this. Isn't the US version, because the whole thing was they wanted to control the data. They were like, well, we need oversight on the data for the US customer base, and China is not letting them into their data. So, as far as I understand it, they have a different server setup for the US version. I don't know if that's in the US or if that's still in China that they're getting access to. And what it looks like to me, and I could be wrong, please correct me, that the deal that they made with China is a licensing deal for the name of TikTok. The US sets up its own servers, its own algorithm, and rocks with its own stuff. Now, that's what I'm wondering here is, like, to your point, if they're developing AI that they're going to distribute to the US side and then to the rest of the world side, are is that a part of the licensing deal, or is that like, don't be less than what we are globally, or do they even care and they're going to let the US do what they want since the US put these restrictions on it?
I mean, you can't have two different products under the same name, right? So like there has to be one core product developed up here, and then it's licensed to the US version of that app, and then licensed to the international version of that app. I'm not even going to say the Asian version, because I think the broader international community is going to get
Correct.
one version, and there's going to be a US version,
Right.
right? So I think
Even
one,
though not to this
yeah,
even though I think China's version, even though it's still a part of the same global version, the algorithm that China has for Chinese citizens is different than the rest of the world.
yes. But they learn a lot. How you develop that technology, you learn a lot from that data. So if
Yes.
they're saying like, look, we need that US data to refine and improve this app, and the US is like, nah, You ain't getting that data. Okay, then I don't know if we can make the same improvements for the US app that we're making for the international one, because you're not returning the data that we need to improve this app. That's the level of inside baseball that we're not privy to understand what gates are the US teams and the US administrations putting around the US version of that app that's going to degrade or limit the US version of that app,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And we worry about, oh, PII, what they call like personal identifiable information, like, you know, my name, my address, my social security, my credit card numbers, like all those things. We don't want China to have any PII. Cool. But the usage data, how we're using the app, and all those things are important to improving the app. But if the US is like, nah, you can't have none of that, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna help or hurt that app. It might hurt it.
I agree with you. I think the way that this administration is moving, I think they don't care about hurting the app. I think
Yeah,
they really
they don't get the development side of it.
no, and I think that they think, well, the app is already popular enough that if we take it over, people will still use it, and we'll be able to push our agenda through it. And because a lot of U.S. citizens, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but they don't do their due diligence. They don't check. They don't think, oh, well, let me get a VPN and go get the, if it's still able to do, because I don't know how that may move with
Yeah.
the App Store. The App Store may say, oh, you can't download apps when you have a VPN on anymore. We'll see. But they don't go to say, well, let me see what's the difference between these, and know that they're severely lacking. So the more that people that are caught up into the TikTok vibe, that don't do their homework to see that this is no longer the TikTok that they needed, and then won't take the steps to move on to something else that will help them, will stay there and get stuck in that rut. And I think that I think this current administration is okay with that. So I think they're okay with not having the development side go stronger and further, because they're also in bed with OpenAI and some of these other companies that if they get further ahead in the AI social space, that's okay, because we made TikTok ours the way we wanted it to be. Even knowing this administration didn't start this process, I think they figured out how they can take full advantage of continuing this process.
So let's take these AI filters as an example, and the type of things that you can output now. Because before, TikTok was just, make a video, share it with the community, share things on social, add these keywords. But now with these generative features, you're being able to create content, new AI content on these platforms, and that's going to become more commonplace. What people saw with the testing of DeepSeek is that it didn't let you ask questions about certain aspects of Chinese history.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like a layer in their design, in their prompting instructions, that censored the DeepSeek app.
Mm-hmm.
And then Perplexity was like, you know what? You can come here and test the US version of DeepSeek without those sensors, without those filters, because it
Interesting.
was open source. So Perplexity was like, all right, it's open source. Cool. We're going to take all this code, put it in our product, take all those restrictions out, and now you can test the US version. We might see that with TikTok. TikTok is going to have a version licensed to the US,
Mm-hmm.
and the US now is going to have a list of saying, this version will allow you to do X, Y, and Z, and it won't let you do X, Y, and Z. You want to make a video making fun of the administration, and you want to make a video making fun of Trump? Blocked,
Not happening.
right? Or if you make a video like that, cool, you're just going to get added to this list of people making fun of the administration. So you're worried about what China is doing with your data. If you have any political satire that you're trying to generate with this US TikTok app, good luck,
And
because they're
that'll
watching you.
probably, they're watching, and then they have what's the thing, Palantir, like they're ready
Yeah.
to pounce. So but that'll probably be at some point all of the U.S. based AI. So Sora will probably have that restriction, at least for the next 3 years, and God forbid any longer. But I
They'll
think
have
that's
restrictions just because they don't want to get into hot water with the administration.
right.
So I've tested Sora. Sora's in a weird place right now, and mind you, it's like 2 days old, right? And I know
Yeah,
we try not to like timestamp our videos, but this is like a very timely conversation that we're
yeah,
having.
yeah.
Where Sora right now, any new technology that allows for generation, creative content generation, is playing this game with like IP, right? Copyright of like what's allowed for you to generate, what's not allowed. And right now, the company line is that these copyright owners got to opt out. By default, we're going to opt you in. You got to call us and say,
Mm,
remove yourself, remove us, right? So obviously, first thing I tried, Marvel, blocked. Okay, third party restriction, can't do anything Marvel. I go through the feed, everyone's making SpongeBob videos. Okay, SpongeBob is allowed. Whoever owns SpongeBob, Paramount, I think,
Nickelodeon,
right?
yeah, Paramount, yep.
So that's
Larry
allowed.
Ellison, same deal
I
with
see
TikTok.
I see Pokemon. Oh, Pokemon's allowed. Okay, interesting.
Mm,
Right? Then I
mm.
see JFK videos, right? JFK speeches. Martin Luther King speeches were allowed. I'm like, oh, you can make political figure content? Let me try Trump. Blocked. So it's like the game right now of who's allowed to be generated. Michael Jackson videos. I just saw Michael Jackson, Tupac. You can generate Michael Jackson and Tupac videos.
Hmm.
Those estates, the Tupac estate, has to physically get on the phone and be like, nah, shut that down. If you don't pick up the phone, they're going to let you generate on their platform. But I think for the administration, they're just like, you know what, let's just put that block now just so we don't get into hot water with Homeboy.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then even I could even see, Martin Luther King's estate is very on top of things, especially in social media. I could even see that they have tried to get that taken down, and I could see that this administration probably wanting there to be some funny negative content coming out of
Yeah.
Martin Luther King to devalue him, not taking those calls on purpose to take it out. Just the same way as they're not ushering in a new like not swearing in a new Democrat because it would affect something that the administration doesn't want it to affect. Like this
This is going to
administration,
change daily. And we saw it with Studio Ghibli, right? Everyone was doing
yeah,
Studio Ghibli
yeah,
images, and then the studio got on the phone and they were like, all right, that was cool for like a week.
chill,
Now shut it
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going to be an interesting time period. We're gonna, and we're seeing more pushback from the general audience and some of the creativity and the artistry that it's replacing. Like we've seen a general pushback of AI music as of recently. Artists are saying, yo, nah, this ain't cool. I'm not with this. The only one that's really super promoting it is Timberland right now. Um, so it's an interesting time because like, yeah, AI should not ever replace actual creativity, right? Because we've seen the AI, how do you touch that thing, that spark, right? But creatives should be able to use AI for their creative process and people not be upset with it.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
we
an
both
interesting time.
know music video directors that have already hit me up. They're like, yo, because you need an access code, you need an invite code to get in. They're like, yo, I'm, you know what I do as a music video director. Can I get a code to test this out? I hit them off with an access code because
Yo,
I'm
I,
like, yo,
I,
if
I need an
anybody needs to be
invite.
testing this,
I need an invite code, LeBron.
no, we got you. But like, I had to hit the team,
No,
and we
I'm
could test
playing,
on the
playing.
same
Yeah,
joint.
yeah,
We could test
for
on the
sure,
same account.
for
Um,
sure. I'm
so
playing.
it's like, yo, these people need to give us the demos to see like what's possible. In OpenAI does the same thing. All right, you're a professional in this field. We're making an AI in your field. You need to test it first.
Right,
You know what I mean? You're part of our early test group to
right.
let us know how it can help you in your field. Um, but think about what this is gonna do. Usually, making a music video is like a huge barrier to entry to like blow up as an artist because it's like, yeah, you can make a song in your bathroom, but the visuals is what really scales that record.
Yeah.
But there's a 5-6 figure barrier to entry to get that video done to pop off on like YouTube or on, you know, on those different platforms. But now this type of tool is gonna let you make a music video in your closet or in your bedroom, you know, and that's gonna be a huge disruption. And Suno, one of the music platforms, is coming out with their Sora tool that lets you make visuals to the songs that you make on the platform.
That's going to be key.
And it's just going to be a feed of everyone's user-generated songs and videos. So all this stuff is getting disrupted in real time. And anything that was like, damn, I don't have enough money for X, is getting the treatment of like, don't worry about it, we have an AI for that. You don't need that same, you know, bag to make this content.
Soon it's going to be, you're going to be able to run around with your iPhone or Android, right, with the voice app, the voice recording app, going and getting people to read this line as best as you can, as most interesting as you can. Maybe you have the chance to even ask them to do it a couple times. Maybe it'll be celebrities, maybe it won't. And then you'll be able to edit that audio together into clips and then upload. And then even with that bad audio that you recorded, the AI will enhance that, make it sound perfect, and then actually put visuals around that audio that will fit whatever scene that you're trying to set. So you'll be able to just make a movie based off of the voice recordings that you got.
Yep.
That's going to be crazy.
100%.
I can't wait for that one. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting time that we're in. And as we've talked about before, a lot of it is going to be your perception, your perspective of how you're looking at this thing. If it's a negative that you want no part of because you feel like it's disrupting creativity and artistry in a way that it shouldn't, eventually that thought process, although not wrong in the concept of it shouldn't replace creativity, but that thought process eventually will end up hurting you because these tools are going to be used, because there's more non-creatives, right, that feel like they want their voice heard or their thoughts seen, as it were, that will use this technology, and it will become popular, and then it will become a staple. And then when you're the only one not using it, even though you may take time to craft a thing, unless it's actual Hollywood level, it's going to be seen as less, and people won't pay attention to you. So you're going to end up losing in the long run if you don't look at this through a healthy lens of, yes, let's not replace creativity. Let's not let the AI just run and do whatever it wants to do, but let me show my creativity through it. Right?
I mean, with all these tools, and I wouldn't even just say AI. When you open Pro Tools for the first time, when you open Logic, when you're sitting with a drum machine in front of you, when you have Final Cut Pro in front of you, the screens are blank. All of it is blank. You have to generate with your creativity the output, right? The content and that creative process.
That's a fact.
All these AI tools are just blank screens. So like what you prompt, that's still your creativity. Your prompt now is your IP. That's the one, and I've been saying that from day one, 5 years ago. Like, your IP is your prompt. You need to protect those. Because a lot of people are like, oh, here's the prompt that I use. Here's the prompt that I use. If you're getting a bag from that prompt, put that prompt away and protect it. You know what I mean? And I've talked with lawyers about copywriting prompts and the process around copywriting prompts, because you built this whole product, this commercial product that you're monetizing off of that prompt. So these are just more tools to give creatives to work with. Now, mind you, this Sora thing is blurring into like, it's just another social media tool. So some people who don't care about being creatives just need another social media tool to express their emotions, express political satire, social commentary, connect with their community, but through generating memes and generating videos. And for whatever reason, as a business move, OpenAI came out with it as a social media feed that you scroll vertically 9 by 16 before they came out with it as like a AI component to like a Final Cut Pro or to like any kind of like film tool. They went with social media first. Now there's Runway ML, there's VO3, there's Kling, there's a lot of Higgsfield, there's a lot of tools that are just playing in the TV and film editing space with AI. You can do that with Sora, but Sora came out first as like a 9 by 16 TikTok kind of feed with followers and all that. And so that's a strategic business move to get everyone hooked on it from this side.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart, right? Because we're seeing the videos hit Instagram and other platforms. So it's kind of like the TikTok effect where let me make it over here and then I'll spread it to my feeds. But should this platform pop off because of user activity, because everybody else is making it, I'm also in here popping off first, technically. So the model makes sense. But it's funny that you mentioned that because Premiere, or Adobe rather, just dropped the mobile phone version of Premiere Pro, and within that there is AI generation tools. So it's like they are trying to make it for the editing purposes, and it's actually pretty dope. But it also has the same. I tried it right away, and I took an image because it has an image to video generator in there, and I took a Marvel image of Spider-Man facing off with Taskmaster that somebody from Instagram drew. I just screenshot it. Sorry, I took your work, and which is gonna happen. But when I had it like on some like, yo, make them face off like a boxing match type shit, gave a couple more details, but said, no headgear, no gloves, nothing, that like a weigh-in type thing. And because it recognized that it was two Marvel characters, it still put them in headgear, it still gave them gloves, and it made them generic people that you do not recognize. And I was like, wow, look at that protection right there. That's crazy.
But it's crazy. Like, so I'm a big Punisher fan, and I was like, I try and put Punisher in different like IPs or different scenarios. So I was like, yo, make me a GTA game of the Punisher taking down villains in like Hell's Kitchen. Did it instantly. Came out great. All accurate to GTA style, Grand Theft Auto. And then I was like, all right, have the Punisher fighting the Predator. Right? IP. Sorry, third-party content. So I'm like, all right, well, who got flagged? Was it the Punisher or was it the Predator?
The Predator, yeah.
But then I tried, all right, let me have the Predator fighting a zombie horde, and it let me do it. So it's like, it's
and then the
Swiss cheese right now. It's like different loopholes that you got to dip through to figure out which IPs it's going to allow, which different prompts, how you write it, the way that you frame it, it's going to be hit or miss.
The interesting thing there is, I think they're both owned by Disney, the Punisher and Predator. Yeah, now. So it's like, I guess maybe Marvel is the actual entity that said no.
Yeah.
Right? And then Predator is Fox. So maybe Fox didn't go in, even though they're both owned by Disney. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely Swiss cheese right now. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, so it's an interesting time to keep our eye on things. We're going to be back here always to help you understanding the development of these things to know your future. I'm Tat Wizza.
Yes, sir. I'm Abraham Maldonado.
Yep, and we will be back next week with another one. Peace.
Peace out.
Future, know your future, or get stuff into the hooper.